Hey guys, Don here. Welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. In this $1 Million Minute, I'm going to go over a day on a Thursday, and we were seeing patients. There was 21 patients at the beginning of the day with 40 minutes open, so 2 slots. Those were filled up during the day, so there was really no opening, so it was a good day. Kind of highlight, we are starting in a couple of days our ModMed training. So we are switching from Athena to ModMed. This is EMR for me number 4. We were MediNotes, we went to Litech MD, went to Athena, now we're going to ModMed. Everyone is asking me why are you moving? I like Athena. I think Athena is great. The only challenge is they take a percentage of everything, and we have about 25% cash pay. And the difference is ModMed does not take that. So I think in the end, it should save us, at least on the paper, $70,000 for 4 doctors per year. So it's more of a financial reason. I might like the EMR better. I know Morali, my scribe, tends to do more of my EMR work these days. But we'll see kind of how it goes, and I'll kind of tell you the experience of switching over. Okay, so today I saw these patients. I did have a nice call at lunch with a gentleman, Mayer. He is 85, and he coaches dentists, and he has a dental coaching, because I've been wanting to dip my feet in this coaching, kind of helping doctors with their practice. And he said a couple of good things which kind of resonated with me. One, he said, Don, I don't like to help, or it's kind of hard to help people that don't have any money. So kind of non-profitable practices or people that are just starting out, it's hard to help because they don't have money to pay. It's a lot easier to take a successful practice and make them more successful. And I really like that, because I think in the beginning, when we're all starting out, when we're trying to hustle, having to fill your schedule, that is a challenge. And it's something that you can kind of help people with, to run around and talk to doctors and do marketing and things like that. But it's a lot easier to take something that's already well run and then making it much more efficient. And I feel like that's something that we've done recently in our practice. So most days are pretty full. There are some days that are a little bit less full. And then we can, when we do this, when we take it, it's already full, we can make it more efficient, like the things that we've done with like our routine day. We each have a half day doing only routine and kind of double booking with a nail tech. Or also we have ways of like fitting in new patients. Like there's some open slots, and they fit them in to kind of fill up the slots. And then also reducing low value patients, like low value follow-ups. These are all ways that we are able to increase the revenue in the practice. We're kind of like filled, all the doctors are filled, so being more profitable with each patient. That's why I was talking about the most valuable patient. So I like that idea from him. So if you are already a successful practice and you are wanting to get more successful, what would I consider successful? Like if you're producing, let's say, 800,000 and you're wanting to get to the $1 million mark, that's where I feel like that would be my sweet spot, because I think at 800,000 producing as a doctor, you're pretty busy. And I think under that, you're probably not working as much, or you're not as busy. So 800 to $1 million is going to be a lot easier to help than someone from like 400 or 500 to get up to $1 million. It's just a bigger jump. Okay, the day here, first patient was shockwave number 4 of 6. This gentleman is having some pain on the second med head. We did 3 sessions, 6-week break, and now we're doing another 3 sections. Due to the pain down there, I recommended a carbon fiber plate so it wouldn't bend as much. We have them in the office. Unfortunately, my staff that was here couldn't find them. I found out where they were at later. They were in a little bucket somewhere else. But so I recommended he get a carbon fiber plate. Next patient was a pediatric patient, little kid. He's got 8 years old. He's a big hockey player, and so he has this Haglund's bump that's already starting at 8, which is originally, whenever I see like young kids, I think it's Seavers, but this is not one. This one was an actual Haglund's due to pushing off on the hockey skate. Got x-rays, office visit, and I'm going to see him in 6 months. He has some pronation, so I gave him one of my pediatric orthotic things. They're pretty reasonable. We get them from Northwest Lab, the PD orthotics. I think they're about $60, which is pretty reasonable. And then there's a couple other sizes. As they grow, they can by the other sizes. Next patient was an IND, so office visit IND, no follow-up. Next patient was number 5 of 6 for plantar fascial shockwave. Next patient was a new patient for bilateral. She had bilateral plantar fasciitis. We did an x-ray. Then we did an ultrasound. And we did an office visit. And so based on the ultrasound, we saw it was very, very thick. It's actually mostly on the right side. And I could do that on the ultrasound. And then she started the first session of shockwave. So she started the first one. We're going to do 6. And I planned on, once the pain goes down, I'm going to scan her for orthotics at the 3rd. So when we made those appointments, we made all 6 once a week. And on the 3rd one, there's a note in there to scan for orthotics to remind everyone what we're going to be doing. So that was I think that was my MVP patient of the day, most valuable patient. Next was a patient with some first MPJ pain follow-up. We talked about orthotics. We didn't do him. I gave him more shoe recommendations first, and he is going to come back as needed. Next patient was a 33-year-old. This gentleman has bilateral plantar fasciitis, young guy. He has kind of tightness in the calves, so he's working on that, but really thick fascia. He's had this for a long time. So we did 1 of 6 bilateral shockwave. So that's a really good one. So it's usually 6 sessions are 1,500, and when they do bilateral, it's 3,000. So it takes twice the amount of time. Next patient was a 44-year-old new patient that had diabetes. So we did a diabetic foot exam. He had a IPK, so I did lesion destruction for that IPK / possible wart, did nails, did calluses, an office visit, and he'll come back in a year for a diabetic foot exam. Next was a patient, 62-year-old. She has some bilateral foot pain, kind of around the pes anserinus area, kind of peroneals / nerve issues going on. She's going to have an EMG from another doctor coming up soon. So I looked at her. I did an ultrasound bilaterally. Didn't really find much going on, so I think it's more a nerve issue for her. So I think the EMG is going to be important. Next patient was a 62-year-old. He had a IPKs between the 4th and 5th toes, like these deep calluses. So we talked about an exhaustectomy, because I think doing that will help them not to come back. We talked about wider shoes, and he's not going to come back. Next patient was a new patient that was concerned about nail fungus. Once again, I used to, so just a reminder, I used to do nail samples, see them back in 3 weeks, and then do the whole package. Now I say, hey, if you want to save yourself 3 weeks, we can just start today. And most of them, pretty much everyone is taking me up on that. So we did Lamisil kit and a 3-month follow-up for this patient. Next patient was, this is a 61-year-old female. She is here for Swift number 6. Now that's a lot of Swifts. So she did 4, 3-month follow-up, number 5, 2-month follow-up, number 6. I did that today with Cantharidin and Swift as well. And she just has a really hard mosaic wart. So I may add laser next time, just because it seems like it's going on forever. But I am getting up really high. It's like she's really uncomfortable. So tips about Swift. I know many of you might do this, but to get up to like the energy level, like 6 to 8, I try to go around 8. I do two. I think it's 2 milliseconds, 2 seconds, and I do 6 in each location. So it hurts a lot. But some patients, they just need more treatment. So she is one of those, and she is not complaining about the price, but she, it's just taking a long time. Next patient was an 81-year-old that came in for nail sample follow-up. I reviewed the nail sample, it was negative, and we did nail care for him. Next was a patient, did x-rays, had some kind of neuropathy pain. I think it's from a big bunion that's, he's putting pressure on the kind of the plantar medial nerve there, and it's causing some numbness, and because of his bunion. So we talked about shoes, gave him some new anatomic shoe recommendations. Next was a matrix follow-up. It was very red, so they were concerned, but it was fine. It was just a really inflamed area. Next patient was an IND bilaterally. This was a colorectal surgeon that just finished fellowship, so I was seeing him, did an IND bilaterally, no follow-up for him. Next patient was a shockwave, number 3 out of 6. we did orthotics scanning already for this patient, and so she's going to be getting orthotics towards the last session. Next patient was a patient with heel fissure, so I have to give recognition to who helped me with this. So for fissures, I've kind of changed my treatment process due to Joel here. And so he had really deep fissures. I debrided them, got the calluses, kind of debrided them with a tissue nipper and 15 blade. Kind of was bleeding a little bit. Stopped the bleeding, put on steri strips, wrapped in elastoplast. So I called that, because it was ulcer debridement initially for these fissures. And he's going to leave that on for 3 days, and then he's going to start using his 40% urea cream and the pumice and the sleep and heal socks afterwards. So he's going to come back as needed if there's any issues. So that before I wasn't doing that, so that I was just doing the sleep and heals and the urea cream, but the debridement, you can get like an ulcer debridement code because it really is fissured and ulcered there and bleeding. Next patient was an IND of an ingrown toenail. Next patient was another IND. So these are a lot of ones that are added on. I said I had some time. Those are usually the INDs that are added on for the ingrown toenails. Next patient was a 16-year-old that came. She's a lacrosse/soccer player, and she was concerned about a fracture, but she had a really bad sprain, so we put her in a walking boot, a cam boot, and I'm going to see her back in 2 weeks for possible. I did an x-ray, but another x-ray because sometimes you can't see things right away. Next patient was a 55-year-old patient. She's a follow-up. She hadn't been here for, I think, 3 or 4 years, and she had a posterior tibial PTDD, kind of type of foot, kind of flat heel valgus. And she had previously used a Northwest lab, and I was considering switching to forward motion that we're using now, but I remembered a lecture, a rule at a recent lecture I went to that said, whatever they had before, do the same. So I scanned and I used Northwest. I like Northwest orthotics, so I just kind of copied that one. I may start using Northwest a little bit more. Their orthotics are a little bit more expensive, I think, than forward motion. I think forward motion's about $100, maybe $95. I think Northwest are usually like $120. But we use them for many, many years, and there's a really good product. In my opinion, I actually think the Northwest are a little bit better. So that's just my thought. Sorry, forward motion, if you're listening. And then the last patient was a porokeratoma type of patient / wart. So I did that one. He was a police officer. And then the other thing I was talking to Mayor about was the EBITDA. I don't know if you've heard of that, EBITDA. It's a way to measure the profitability of your practice. He asked me about that, and I didn't know that. So I'm going to try to calculate that. That is the profitability. You take what's net, and then after amortization of your loans and other types of depreciation, add those things on top. It gives you a number of your profitability for the practice. So it's something I haven't done. I think it would be something good to do. But those are the things today. I'll let you know when we start. I'm going to start my ModMed. I have to do online training, and then I'm going to talk you through kind of how the whole experience is. If any of you are super users of ModMed and have any tips, feel free to certainly email me. I'd love to know what's working for you. My email is don@podiatrypracticemastery.com. If anyone wants to chat with me about coaching, helping your practice go to the next level, to the $1 million mark. If you're at $800,000 per provider, you want to get to the $1 million, let me know. I'd be happy to kind of meet with you, and we can set up a call, see if it's a good fit. Okay? Just shoot me an email. Okay, have a great day.